What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 6. Probably should have looked at that before. Let me find that. Yes, this is episode 5. 6 of the Miami Marlins Out of the Park Baseball 25 series. Just got back from Atlanta and Fort Lauderdale. Took a little business trip to Atlanta, and then a bachelor party in Fort Lauderdale. Very fun weekend, but yeah, haven't had an open minute this week so far. So recording this on Thursday, and I hope to have this episode out today, and then record another one Saturday, and hopefully have it out that day. Maybe a couple episodes on Saturday, but I do want to get back into this now that I actually have some free time now. So. We're about a month and a half in. It's May 1st. I thought we were more like a month in. But apparently we played 39 games. 39 games. Doesn't really seem right. I did have a little slip up. I guess this is right. Just seems like a lot of games. Do we start... Okay, I'm very confused. Okay, yeah, we started really early. That makes sense. We're 39 games deep, but we're 22-17, a really good start to the season. Playing really well. So we're second in runs against, 12th in runs scored. But I think there's signs for optimism, but also maybe some guys are overperforming a bit. We'll get to that in a little bit, but yeah, overall, really good start to the season. So let's jump into the pitching staff, which has kind of been the star of the season so far for us. So Sandy Alcantara, got him back this season. Hasn't gotten off to a great start yet. You know, it's a pretty middling season. Hopefully the home runs can come down a bit. But overall, he's been fine. You know, he missed a full season, whatever. Jesus Luzardo has been awesome, though. Kind of following up his, second breakout season, and really third breakout season in a row. He's had a good start to the season. Yuri Perez has been a little disappointing, but I think the metrics show he could probably improve. The stuff is at a 70. He only has 8.4 Ks per 9, down 3 Ks per 9 from last season. I expect that to tick up, and he'll hopefully improve in that regard. Braxton Garrett's been a little disappointing in the FIP. Not pretty at 5.28. The home run ball has been an issue for him. But the results have been okay. He's been about a league average pitcher. And then Trevor Rogers has been really good. Again, the metrics don't look great for him. Not really striking anyone out. After striking out 10.2 guys per 9 last year. Also, if there's background noise, I have this AC on. I did a sound check before and I didn't hear it. But if there's like a little muffling, that's probably why. But yeah, he's on pace for 5.2 F-WAR. Only 1.1 WAR based on FIP. But the back end of the bullpen's really been... excellent with AJ Puck. 0.68 ERA after putting up an ERA over 5 as a starter last year. Yeah, I'm glad I just gave up that experiment with him starting. It really just wasn't working out. He doesn't really have the stamina for it. The movement's suspect. And you can much better get away with that in the bullpen. Max Mayer's been pretty good. Moving to the bullpen full time. We tried him as a starter last year. He pitched out of the bullpen for a lot of the season after he came back from injury. He's been really good. Not giving up a ton of home runs. If we get this Ks to tick up a little bit and the walks down, I think he could be a really good pitcher. The FIP looks excellent, even with those, subpar ratios. Mostly due to not giving up any home runs, really, at all. Tobias Myers has come up for a couple of innings, pitched well. We'll get to some of the guys who have underperformed in the bullpen. We've kind of had to move people around a little bit, but Anthony Bender also hasn't really pitched much. He's been okay. Given up a lot of home runs per 9, but only 8 innings, so not a huge deal. Sixto Sanchez has been a real surprise this season. He's gotten the walks way down from last year. He's walking 3.8, and I kind of said that feels weird with the 65 control to be that high. And this is much more what I expected, so he's been awesome. Andrew Nardi has had a couple blow-up games that have kind of wrecked his ERA. Yeah, he had this 1 2/3, 6 runs here, but he's been pretty lights out since then, so hopefully he can keep pitching like that. And then Ryan Weathers, who started the year in our bullpen, just a couple really, really bad games. Wound up sending him down. think this was, yeah, he gave up 5 runs in an inning and 2/3, 2 runs here, 2 runs here. Sent him down for a couple games. He's back up because we need some arms. But, yeah, coming off a really good season last year. Has not been great to start the season, but only 3 innings. He has plenty of time to bounce back. Then for the rest of our pitching depth, Joe Boyles made an appearance in the majors. An inning and 2/3 scoreless. Who else has pitched for us up here? Brian Hoeing, I believe, was up for... No, he wasn't. Josh Simpson was for 3 innings. Didn't really do too much. Brazoban wound up DFAing him when he came back from injury. But he's back on our roster. Who's on our 40-man? I thought we had more guys pitch, but I guess that's it. But yeah, let's go to the lineup. There's been some stars. Jesus Sanchez off to a fantastic start to the season. Pays for 6.6 WAR. He has issues against lefties. We're kind of trying to hide him this season, but it hasn't been too great. But absolutely crushes righties. Our backup catcher, our Rule 5 pick, Alfonso, has been good in limited time. Jazz Chisholm off to an amazing start. Playing right field this season for us. He cut down the strikeout rate about 6%, 5% so far to start the season. We'll see if that holds. But yeah, a good start for him. Luis Arraez doing his thing. Kind of expected that. High batting average, no power. Although he did hit 11 bombs last year, so I shouldn't say no power. We'd like a little bit more. But Patrick Bailey, 8 home runs so far. He got off to a torrid start, if I remember correctly. We started down here. Yeah, had a hit in the first 6 games. He had a 2 home run game here, and yeah, a great start to the season for him. Has tailed off a bit, but still overall great numbers. 3.2 framing runs. You pulled out to a full season, he's close to 20 framing runs, which is absolutely excellent. Wes Clark, he made the opening day roster. A bit of a surprise, but, he's a good player. And, he's played pretty well so far as our main... I guess he's been playing a lot of first. Luis Arraez moved to second. We've had some guys up and down, I think. Hiriano has been about a league average hitter. Another guy I've cut off to a great start. If I remember correctly, he had a 3-hit game, 2-hit game. A bunch of multi-hit games in here. Has tailed off a bit since, but overall, still a good start to his career in the major leagues. Austin Meadows has been a bit disappointing. We'll still give him a little bit more run, but as our DH, he's got to be a bit better than that. Casey Schmidt's been called up for a little bit. He's been fine. Batting .333 in 15 plate appearances. Brian De La Cruz was really disappointing to start the season. He wasn't a guy who was locked into a spot, even though he had a pretty good season last year. We'll see where he stands as we head into the latter part of the season. Brenton Doyle's been playing good defense out in center. 1.1 zone rating so far. He's kind of moved into an everyday role. We'll get to, what's his name? The other center fielder we had to start the year. And Ortega, a guy who's really underperformed to start the year. I think he has a little bit more in him than 40 WRC+. So he's a guy we're hoping for some positive regression back to the mean. And Jace Peterson hasn't really done too much. Has been forced to play a little bit more than I wanted to, but he could be a guy on the chopping block as well. Victor Mesa Jr., that's who it was. He got off to a dreadful start. 69 plate appearances, 150 average, 0 WRC+. And doesn't really play great center field either. I guess he was doing pretty well, but, pull that out over a full season. He's probably just a league average center fielder. We sent him down. Jacob Amaya is really struggling in AAA. Xavier Edwards hasn't really played well in AAA either. Dane Myers has played well down there, and Heliot Ramos has been crushing it. So he's a guy we may look to call up. Any injuries? Yeah, De Los Santos got hurt. He was off to a good start this season. Put him on the injured list as a precaution thing, moderate influence on throwing. Pretty much any throwing with a pitcher, I'll throw them on the IL if it's long enough. But yeah, there's our check-in after the first full month of the season. We'll check back in probably in June. All right, so we're here June 14th. We are 44-36, holding pretty much the same pace that we had at the end or the beginning of May when we last checked in. If we go to our by month stats, here we go. Yeah, 7-5 in March, 15-12 in April, 16-13 in May, 6-6 so far in June. So we're holding like a 550 win percentage overall. 550 on the dot actually. The offense still not pretty. We are, 14th in runs scored. However, our pitching has been fantastic. First in ERA, pretty much first or second in most important categories here, pitching-wise. Our defense hasn't been quite as good as I thought it would be. Zone rating only 8th, so we're middle of the pack. But I think that has a lot to do with kind of where we've fallen with having to play guys out of position, having to start guys at spots they don't have experience in, stuff like that. So, our pitching's been incredible. Hitting still needs some work. But let's check out the lineup. I kind of see where everyone's at here. We've had a couple fall-offs since the start. Jazz still having a great year, 130 WRC plus, on pace for 4.5 WAR. Not really playing the great right field defense I would have thought. But he's been great with the bat. Luis Arraez, batting 350, but man, he does not have a single home run yet, only 17 extra base hits. He is what he is. But he's been a good player overall for us. Casey Schmidt has slowly but surely made his way into our lineup. We kind of just forced our hand to have to start him here, which I'm not opposed to. He's been so good. I think there's some signs of regression: the high BABIP, the low walk rate, the high-ish strikeout rate. But overall, he's been a good piece, and he's officially our starting third baseman as of today. A couple of roster shakeup moves. Alfonso continues to hit as our backup catcher. He's been incredible. Backup catcher-wise, it's all relative, but yeah, he's been really good. I'm not going to play him any more than he needs to, just because he's not the defensive player that Patrick Bailey is, but he's been great when we've had to call on him. Jesus Sanchez has taken a step back after his hot start. Only about a league average hitter according to WRC+. WAR on pace for about 2, so, he's an average player. The hot start of the year was probably an anomaly. We did just call up Jacob Berry. We'll get to that in a second. Heliot Ramos got off to a great start when he first came up. You can see a bunch of hitless games here, though, to kind of bring down his overall numbers. But, yeah, he's playing every day-ish for us. So, yeah, we're happy with what we've gotten out of him relative to some of the other guys who have been in his place. Patrick Bailey has fallen off since a hot start. But I'll take a 90 WRC plus and, elite catcher defense. He's turned basically the same pitching staff from like a middle of the pack group, even bottom half group to, the best in baseball. So a lot of that goes to Patrick Bailey. Love that trade. His blocking has fallen down a little bit, but his framing is still elite. He's only 26. Xavier Edwards has had to come up and play a little bit of center field. He has not been good out there. Negative 4.2 zone rated in just 21 games. So he's moved into more of a backup role, but still playing a little bit, mixing in center field as needed, and playing some corners, some first base, kind of all over the field. But yeah, he's been fine. A little bit below league average. We'll take that with his good defense. Ortega has bounced back from his 40 WRC plus. He was like high 80s at one point. Fell back down. He's working his way back up. See a little bit of a hot streak here. But yeah, he's played elite defense at shortstop, 6.5 zone rating. You pull out to a full season, he's at like 15. So that's elite defense. Love that. On pace for almost 3 WAR, even with a really, really poor bat. Austin Meadows has been pretty brutal. He's had some moments, but overall it hasn't been great. He might be a guy we look to move on from as we approach the deadline here. Hirano has also fallen off after a pretty good start. He kind of lost his third base job recently with the rise of Casey. What's his name? Casey Schmidt? Casey Schmidt. he's a good backup guy to have. The zone rating's deceptive because we didn't train him at third base at all in the preseason. I kind of figured that would be a rough part of his game to start, but he did improve. But yeah, he's a backup now. And then Dane Myers, kind of a desperation play. We had to call him. He's my starting center fielder officially right now. Not great defensively out there, but he's a right-handed bat, which we kind of needed because a lot of our righties have been pretty piss poor. While we're on that topic, I did send out Wes Clark. He got off to a pretty nice start to the year, and then, it's kind of plummeted results-wise. He's hit 13 home runs, but a 183 average, 89 WRC+, negative .3 WAR. I just couldn't keep sending him out there every day, so we sent him down, called up Jacob Berry, who was not exactly killing it in AAA. In fact, he was really bad. But I think the ratings are good enough that maybe he can make it. He might just be bored down in AAA, so yeah, we'll see how he does. We also finally wound up releasing Brian De La Cruz. Go check in on him. Yeah, he put up negative .7 WAR. Not a good defensive player. The bat was really, really bad. I gave him a shot this season after a pretty good year last year, but, I kind of saw this coming. The regression back to the player he probably was with the high BABIP last year. It just wasn't working out. We didn't really have a spot for him anymore. We needed a center fielder, so yeah, that's kind of what happened to him. We still have Victor Mesa Jr. down here in AAA. A guy who's been playing well, so maybe if Dane Myers really struggles, we can call him up, but we do have a lot of lefties in our lineup. Less so now, but we did previously before calling up Heliot Ramos and Dane Myers and that. But Bretton Doyle got hurt, which is the reason we had to do all this center field nonsense. He had a high ankle sprain. I think it was a 6 to 7 week injury. He'll be back in 2 weeks. He was playing pretty damn well and playing, some good center field defense. We could really use him back because center field is a big black hole right now with what we're throwing out there. And as we move toward the deadline, first base is going to be a huge need. I usually don't say that because, first base is kind of the easiest position to come about in this game. But, yeah, we could really use a nice player there. Prospect-wise, Luis Herrera, he was crushing rookie ball. Called him up to A-ball. Might have been a little premature. He's really struggled there so far. Only 53 plate appearances. I'll probably give him 100 at-bats, see how he does. I thought he might be ready for it at this point, but it's looking like I might have been wrong. But, we could send him back down. I don't love doing that, but if worse comes to worse, it's always the case. We can do that. Noble Meyer got off to a decent start. Looks like he's pitching out of the bullpen now, which I don't hate, considering he was really, really brutal. Yeah, he went through this 3-start stretch. The ERA inflated over almost to 8.5. Has been better since pitching out of the pen, but yeah, he's a guy who's no longer really untouchable. He never really was, but I'm much more open to trading him. I don't love how he profiles long term. He has 3 really good pitches, but he might just be a reliever, honestly. Duggan Marston has pitched a couple games down in rookie ball, making his pro debut this season. We'll get to the pitching in a second, but I kind of got in this groove of going through prospects. Luis Cova, another guy who played really well in rookie ball for 19 games. Called him up to A-ball. Might have been a little early. He's fared a little bit better. But he's 18. It's not crazy to call him up. Jacob Berry's there. Victor Mesa Jr. Matt Ager, looks like he just got an injury just yesterday. I was pitching okay, walking way too many guys in high A, and that's kind of shocking. Pretty good control for the level that he's at, but we'll see how that injury plays out. Jason Flores, one of the guys who dropped down in our most recent scouting update. He was at an 85 stuff, dropped all the way down to a 60. He has a 45 future value now. It's always a risk taking these high school guys because they might just immediately plummet, and that's kind of what happened with him, but he's still been pretty good down in rookie ball. I'm not giving up hope on him to be a contributor for us. Luke Adams, has hit pretty decently in Double A. We've been aggressive with him, moving him through the system since we traded for him. Maybe he gets called to Triple A at the end of the season. No, don't think that's very likely, but it's definitely possible. Brady Blaylock, one of the guys who I'm kind of excited for as a potential starter moving forward. He wasn't great last year at Double A. Sent him right to Triple A because he had a good spring, and his really return value on that move, and a below league average FIP, excellent ERA. He's been really good. So a guy who can potentially make his major league debut as we move deeper into the season. Not a lot of these guys are really worth talking about. Jacob Miller looks like he's responding well. I called him up a few weeks ago. Beginning of June, I did my yearly call-ups. And he's made 3 really good starts down there. Dominic Fritton, another guy who might have some potential long-term as a reliever. We drafted him in the 7th round. He's up to high A already. And, he's been fine. Shane Suzuki's been bad in AAA. He's a guy who I thought maybe could be a center fielder for us in a pinch, but he hasn't done much. Fabian Lopez, a guy we worked on before the season. He broke his kneecap, it looks like. He was hitting pretty well in A-ball, too, so that's unfortunate. We'll probably miss the rest of the season. And then Joe Mack, a guy we threw on the Double-A, or threw him on the 40-man in Double-A. Not something I usually do. I guess I do it more often than they do in real life, but the reason I did that is because he had a lot of trade value. And it looks like I probably should have traded him because he's been bad. He was bad last year in Double-A. I don't know if he has any value now, but we'll see what that looks like as we move into toward the deadline. Pitching-wise, as I mentioned, it's been excellent. The guy we thought who was going to be our ace, Sandy Alcantara, whatever his name is, has been rough. He's had, some rough games. Has looked much better lately, and he's gotten his ERA almost to 5. I think he'll be better moving forward, but a guy, got 2 years left to control after this, 2.5 years. We could probably get something for him, so not a guy I'm opposed to trading to get cheaper. But Jesus Luzardo, definitely a guy, long term. This is our dude. Curious if he's interested in an extension because, he's been remarkably durable, knock on wood. And, he's only gotten better this season after a really good season last year. Yuri Perez got off to a difficult start, but has been absolutely excellent, lights out. The Ks per 9 have come way up. The home runs have dropped dramatically since a tough start. He's been awesome. These guys are going to frontline our rotation probably for years moving forward. And Braxton Garrett, the FIP's down to about league average. The ERA's been excellent, striking out a good amount of guys. Everything looks good for Braxton. He's had a good season. And Trevor Rogers, bouncing back after a pretty difficult season last year. He's learned how to pitch a different way, it looks like. Only striking out 6.5 guys per 9, but the results have been really good. Kind of letting his defense play. Then in the bullpen, AJ Puck's been really good. Not quite as good as his amazing start, but still a good season. Max Mayer's had a rough stretch here, but overall has been fine. Might move him to just middle relief. And we have Anthony Bender, hasn't pitched too much this season, but he's been decent while he's out there. Anthony Maldonado, kind of same story, been a good reliever. Joe Boyle, a guy who's been up and down. He's only pitched 3 innings for us. He'll probably stay up for a little bit. I want to give him a look as we kind of decide what his future is going to be. He's a borderline starter. If we get that control up, maybe he can start. Wouldn't bank on that. And Andrew Nardi, who's been excellent after a tough start as well. In 6-0, got hurt for a little bit, came back, and has continued his pace. Now in a long relief role. Really, really impressed this season. Yeah, that's where we are in June. I think we'll come back for the draft update at that point. Maybe there'll be a move to make before then, but we'll see when that does happen. All right, so we're a few days removed from when we last left off. This is a corresponding move with another one that I made. So Austin Meadows, has really just been disappointing. He's not even starting anymore, barely playing. So, he's kind of a lost cause at this point. I'm going to flip him for Chris Taylor, who on the surface is having a horrible season. And, he wasn't great last year either, but I really like his ratings against lefties. We need like a guy basically to play for Jesus Sanchez against lefties because he's been so bad since we started playing him full time. So I think Chris Taylor can be that guy. I also looked at Hunter Renfroe, but I don't like his versatility as much. At least like if I need to, I could throw Chris Taylor at first base or something. He's not really great in left field, but we can DH him. I don't know. I just like Chris Taylor a little bit more. I have a good feeling about him for some reason. And I got Hunter Renfroe in the Padres series, so maybe that's another reason why. I do want to see if they'll eat a little bit of, give us a little bit of cash. $5 million might be a little high. Probably. All right. So this is pretty good. They're eating the entire Chris Taylor contract, throwing in $3 million. We're giving up Austin Meadows. I meant to retain. Okay, yeah, retain all of that. Or sorry, we're retaining none. Okay, yeah, this is the trade. So we're gonna pull that off. And the reason I'm doing this is we also made another trade to pick up Jason Hayward. He can play some good center field. Not much speed anymore at this point in his career, but he's kind of just what we need to fill in the outfield. And Dane Myers actually played pretty valiantly since I called him out about getting cut. He's had 5 hits in the last 2 games he's played. So he's going to stick around at least until Bretton Doyle is back. But I think the Chris Taylor thing, it allows us to basically throw him into Sanchez's place, not have to play Sanchez against lefties because he's been so bad against them. The last 2 seasons, 40 WRC plus. And we're actually giving him legit at-bats. That's like a third of his at-bats. And he's crushed righties, so it's like kind of a no-brainer. His ratings don't look good against lefties either, so it makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of where we are as a team. So we kind of rebuild our outfield with that trade. Those 2 trades, I should say. The Jason Hayward thing, I gave up basically nothing. Gave this Spencer Bramwell character and this guy Paul McIntosh. He doesn't look bad, but we were playing him at catcher. He literally did not play a single game for us so far this season. So yeah, that's the update. We'll be back when there's something else. All right, so we're here at the All-Star break. I have to go in a few minutes, so I'm actually going to wrap up the episode here. Just checking out who made the All-Star team for us. I did look through this already. Here's the AL. You can take a look. I don't know if there's any massive surprises or anything. It doesn't really look like anyone crazy made it. Kyle Manzardo, hidden pretty well. Not really playing great defense, but Josh Herring is the Jacksonville Centaurs representative with about a league average bat, but not a bad player by any means. Trent Grisham, that's funny. Guy I think I looked at. I don't know if I looked at him in the offseason. He got a big contract and a big extension too. We'll see how that ages, but in the NL, Jesus Luzardo, of course, just a spectacular first half. He's been amazing. Trevor Rogers, who's had a low-key awesome first half as well. Very under the radar with the other kind of stars we have. I should say studs. Not quite a bunch of stars, but, we have Luzardo, who's a star, and then a bunch of other studs. And then Trevor Rogers, surprising season. None of our bullpen made it, and none of our hitters besides Jazz Chisholm lay down here. Who had a great first half. There's no other way around it. He was really, really good. We'll see if he can keep it up in the second half. He has 1 more year of control after this, so we'll see what happens. As we move to the deadline, I've been looking at some trades. I have one lined up that I'm kind of questioning, but Luis Arraez is a free agent at the end of the year. Wants a big deal. We're probably not going to give him that. He finally hit his first home run the other day. He drove in 5 runs that game. But yeah, he could be a guy I don't know. See, I don't know if I'd move him. We're in a good position to make the playoffs, and who knows once we get there. So I think we'll just let him hit the market right out this season. But do have one trade if anyone has any feedback on this. Where the hell are they? Colorado Rockies. So I was looking for like a slugger type, just a really good hitter. And the Rockies were kind of in last place. I shopped around some of my top guys just to see what was out there and what we could possibly get. Nolan Jones, the guy, really stuck out. He's had a decent season, nothing special. But a good captain, good work ethic, good defense over at third. Plays him first if we need to throw him there. On pace for 3 WAR, so he's putting up basically the same season he has last year. Has positional flexibility. He's played a good third base this season for them. Overall really good hitting ratings. Nothing really to be upset about besides maybe the strikeouts, but he cut that down to 24.5% this year, so that's not even a real issue. We would be giving up a pretty good package though. Jacob Berry, who's moved up like 50 spots in the prospect rankings, now it's number 73 in baseball. Has a ton of value if we look to trade him. Got off to a tough start for us, but has bounced back and has had a nice little run here. I don't know if I want to give him up. He's a switch-hitting first baseman with some decent upside. But is he really good enough to play first base long-term? I'm not sure. Junior Marino, who has one really good tool, and the rest is pretty middling to bad. The eye is fantastic, though. Does not play defense. He's not a guy I'm really worried about giving up. And then Victor Mesa Jr., who I guess you could say he's fallen out of favor with me. He came up, and maybe I didn't give him enough run. But also, is there a ton of upside of the guy who's not really a fantastic center fielder with, an average bat, probably? I don't know. I think he can be a good center fielder. He has been spectacular in center field in AAA. Only 23. Doesn't have a lot of speed. Not a great bat. Not great defense. He's kind of just your typical fourth outfielder. A really good one, but, a fourth outfielder probably at best. So that'd be the package. Jacob Berry's kind of the part that's, holding this up, I guess. It was kind of him or Noble Meyer. Meyer I'm kind of saving for another trade. He's number 34 in baseball. I'd rather use him on, maybe an off-season move. I am moving him back to starting after a good run in the bullpen, so we'll see if he can boost his trade value as we move closer to the deadline. It's July 2nd, by the way. We're 54 and 42. I always forget to bring that up. But yeah, that's a trade I may look to move. On. Besides that, on the trade block, there was one more trade. It was with the Giants, I believe. No, it was with the Padres. It was Wilmer Flores. This would kind of be... It'd be an either-or thing. We'd rather give up less to get Wilmer. It wouldn't be that much less. But, we can get away with giving up, Xavier Edwards or Hirano. Or maybe just Mesa straight up. But I'd do both trades. I don't know. Our offense just needs a boost. I feel like we've improved, but we're actually 16th in runs scored, which is last in the league. 4th in batting average. We just do not hit home runs. Minus Jazz, it's been Jesus has had a decent power season overall. Patrick Bailey's hits for some pop, but, the rest of the order is, basically nothing. There's no power. I also should say, Jason Hayward, what a start to his Miami career. He was spectacular the first couple games. I'll get to that. We'll probably do that next episode and kind of go over how everyone's doing, but I do have to take off in about 10 minutes. But yeah, those are the trades I'm looking at. So if that went down, Jacob Berry would be gone. We'd basically throw Nolan Jones in his spot. They would give us a few too many lefties at the top of the order, though. And we still need that righty third hitter. We're just missing that right now. We just don't have it. Casey Schmidt's played valiantly, but he's not a third hitter in your ideal world. He's more of, a 6 or 7 hitter. We basically have nothing in the words. I mean, maybe Jacob Berry evolves into that at some point. But even he gets righties better than lefties. Our lefty lineup with we stack the righties here. It's not bad by any means. But this is not winning a World Series in most seasons. So it's just tough. There's really nothing out there. Wilmer would kind of be a perfect fit if we wanted to go that route, spend a little bit less. And we could throw him as like, he'd be a 3-hitter against lefties. But, I mean, it still doesn't solve our problem with not having like a really good all-around hitter as our 3 guy. Castellanos is out here, but is he really an upgrade to anyone? I'm not so sure. Yeah, there's just not really a ton. We'll have to kind of do some searching. I did the old thing where, kind of go through teams that suck, but none of these teams really have good first basemen that I like that are, attainable. I also have to realign the divisions this offseason. I kind of forgot about that, but, Josh Naylor's a free agent at the end of the year on Cleveland. We'll get to that. Is Torkelson having a good year? He's been awful. That's not an upgrade, certainly. But I guess we could bank on the upside. Are they looking for anything for him, or are they just looking to dump him? No, they want some legit guys there. Also, I know it's not typical, but we could look to do like a major leaguer for major leaguer. I think that kind of makes sense. Like we trade from our strength of pitching. Maybe Sandy's on his way out. Don't really want to do that, but he only has 2 years left. I really never do major leaguers from major leaguer trades. But let's just see what's out there. Not a ton. We'd have to throw someone in, looks like. Although, I mean, these aren't horrible trade offers by any means. Seiya Suzuki kind of fits that role perfectly of what we're looking for. He's pretty balanced. Is only under control for next season, so we could dump him after that. What do they want for Seiya? I mean, Xavier Edwards. I'm not sold on Xavier Edwards. He's not like a guy I'm looking to really keep. I like him, but I don't love him. Put it that way. They would have to retain some of this, though. I'm not eating that entire contract. So we'd be on the hook for $12 million next year of Seiya. I kind of think this makes a lot of sense. He's been a really good hitter the last 2 seasons. Let's see. Might pull the trigger on this right now. Joe Mack, a guy I've kind of given up on. He's on the 40-man, so we could clear up a 40-man spot because we are full-ish. Shane Suzaki, I'm not ready to give up on quite yet. Yeah, I think I would throw in Joe Mack. Yeah, but not to eat 5%. I'd just rather just eat the money at that point. There's no value in that. They really like Vredenberg. See, I'm not a huge fan of his. It's not really worth it for me. I'd rather just not give up these guys. Maybe Joe Mack I'd give up. I really don't see him as a long-term piece by any means. I mean, I guess he has some backup catcher upside. I'm not going to give him up for 5%. So, yeah, I mean, we'd be on the hook for $12 million next year. Arise is off the book, so he basically takes that position in the salary pecking order. We still have our, money open long term. I think that makes a lot of sense. Xavier Edwards for Seiya Suzuki straight up. Yeah, you know what? I'm pulling the trigger on this. Let's go. Let's go for it. It's not going to kill us long term. It's not like we're taking on massive contracts or anything. And, it's probably Ramos on his way out. He's struggled since a hot start. So, yeah, Seiya makes his way onto the team, and he's kind of exactly what we need here. Our 3-hitter now. And this lineup looks a lot deeper. Play Chris Taylor out in left. Don't love it, but I guess we could just throw Suzuki there. But he's really bad defensively in left. It's a little late in the season to start doing that crap. All of a sudden, this lineup looks much better, and we could still pull the trigger on the Nolan Jones thing, but we'll do that next episode if we do. So yeah, there's our big trade this episode. I kind of went through that live and found that one, so love how that worked out, and yeah, we'll see if we can capitalize on kind of a decently big move. Getting Seiya. He also has 73 RBIs this year. It's crazy. He should have plenty of opportunities with Chisholm and Arise in front of him. So we'll see if we'll see how he finishes out the year. Still moves to make, of course. This team is not perfect yet. It probably won't be perfect this season, but I think we're on the right track. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.